Hi everyone, my name is Ashley with Clover Patch Knits, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are returning back to my channel, welcome back to you as well. But if you are new here on this channel, I do talk about everything great and wonderful regarding knit and crochet. So that's like your new hobby, or you just want to learn about the wonderful world of these hobbies. I know you're going to love this channel. But on today's podcast episode, I'm going to be talking a lot about sock knitting because, y'all, I've been going through a sock journey. And so I've been waiting to share with you all how this has been going for me. But I do want to start off by sharing a recent purchase that I made. So in previous podcast episodes, I had shared I was debating on if I wanted to purchase the ChiaoGoo Shorty circular knitting needle set. Y'all, I finally bought them. I am also so glad that I went ahead and purchased it because I think it is going to make my life with my knitting projects so much more easier. So I ended up getting, this is the set I got. This is what the case looks like. But in this set, so I got the Twist Shorty. It's the 2 and 3 inch set. That's what I got. And so I ended up on this set, I spent, I think it was like 118 or 119 US dollars. So that's how much I spent. So in this set, you will get 12 of the stainless steel tips. And that's from size US 0 to 3, and that falls under 2 to 3.25 millimeters. You also will get 3 of the red cables, and that ranges from lengths 5, 6, and 8 inch, and that's 13, 15, and 20 centimeters. You also get accessories in your set, so you'll get end stoppers, a tightening key, you'll get connectors. If you have never worked with the ChiaoGoo set before, they have connectors. So if you want to make your cables or your cords, I call them cords, but if you want to make your cable lengths longer, you can connect your cables together with the connectors to make them longer. So I love that. And then you also have stitch markers and a mini needle gauge. I'll be honest, I don't use the mini needle gauge because, y'all, I don't check my gauge. I know I need to, but at least I have it if I ever start checking my gauge. So the first thing I'll show y'all is this is what the accessories come in, this little plastic bag. And then the next thing, this is the bag where your cables come in. Now, I would say one thing that surprised me about this needle set, I'm going to show y'all, is the thickness of the cables. So if you are used to working with other circular ChiaoGoo needles, the thickness of the cords are definitely a lot thicker than this. So when I pulled these cables out the bag, I was like, wow, these are a lot thinner than what I'm used to working with. But I think when it comes to durability, they're going to have the same, I'm not concerned about them breaking or anything like that, even though they are a lot thinner. So I will say that's just one thing I wanted to point out. If you are used to working with other ChiaoGoo circular needles, that is one thing that's different with the Shorty set. And then this case right here is the little black case is where your needles are in. So this is what the case looks like. And so this is what their 2 inch length needle looks like. Look how tiny that is. I have never worked with needles that short before. If I can put this one back. And then you also, this is your 3 inch needle. So y'all, I can say I think this needle set for about a week. And I just realized today, before I started filming, that this set had the 3 inch needles in it. So y'all, when I bought the set, I did not read this little card right here. I just threw it to the side. So I thought this kit only included these short little needles in it. And y'all, I was trying to make socks with the little 2 inch needles and it was not working. I was so uncomfortable. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep this needle set because I'm extremely uncomfortable. So I just realized, like I said today, that I have the longer needles in this set. So when I work on socks, I definitely will be using those 3 inch needles because I think I'll be a lot more comfortable making socks with the 3 inch needle length because of my other ChiaoGoo circular needles. I think that length of needles that I usually use are around 4 inch. So they'll definitely fall a little bit, or they'll be a lot more. The 3 inch length of needles will definitely be a lot more what I'm used to working with. So I think I'll be a lot more comfortable. Now, with the Shorty needle set, do I think they're worth buying? Me personally, yes. Because I think when I really get into making a lot of different socks, it is going to make my knitting experience so much easier. But also, and I guess that depends, do I think it's a necessity to have in your needle set? No, I don't think it's a necessity. But like I said, I think it'll just make, especially sock knitting a lot more easier. And then the thing is, like, if you don't work on patterns that, if you work on patterns that are typically kind of using the same needle size, you don't have to get the whole set. Like, the one thing I love about ChiaoGoo is they do have 9-inch just individual circular knitting needles. I actually bought one. Let me show you the individual, and I can say with the individual 9-inch, so this is how it looks. And what I like about the individual is I love the thickness of the cord. That's one thing I like about this. And just holding the individual 9-inch, it is a little bit more comfortable than the needles that I have in my set. But I think with the comfortability, that could have been due to the fact that I was trying to knit with those little 2-inch needles and I'm not used to that. So that could have been a lot of it too. But that's one thing I like about the individuals is the just the thickness of the cord. So like I said, if you just use some, or maybe you make like projects and stuff within the same like needle size, you don't need to buy a whole set. But if you do work on projects with a lot of different needle size, getting the set will probably be a lot more cost efficient in the long run, because just this needle right here, when I bought the individual, this was like $12 for one. So yeah, like I said, if you're working on projects with like different needle lengths, in the long run, it'd probably be a lot more cost effective just to get the set. So I'm really glad that I bought the set. And like I said, I think it's gonna make my my knitting experience, especially with socks, just so much easier. So now I'm going to share with you all a sock pattern that I've been working on that I've just been like in love with. So I have been using my vanilla sock pattern by Crazy Sock Lady Design. Y'all, if you are like a beginner knitter and you want to start working on socks, you definitely have to work on this pattern because the designer also has an ebook. So you can get 3 patterns in the ebook, I believe for $5 US. And in that ebook, you can get patterns on how to make socks using double pointed needles, circular needles, and also if you want to learn how to make socks using magic loop, you can get that in the ebook, or you can just buy the individual patterns for $2. So that's amazing. And also the designer, y'all, this is what blew my mind too. Its designer has released tutorials on YouTube of how to make the socks that go along with the pattern. So if you're a visual learner like myself, y'all, having those tutorials to go along with my pattern, that really saved my life because I had not worked on socks in like 9 years. So, like I said, with my visual learning self, I definitely needed a tutorial to go along with my pattern. It made things so much easier, especially when I started working on the heel part of my socks. Having that tutorial, it just it made a world of a difference. So yeah, definitely add this pattern on your list. And I've just, when I say the pattern is so well written, that's another thing. It just, people who are able to design patterns already blow my mind. But the fact that, like I said, the designer took the time to put a really great tutorial together, shout out to her. I'll put the tutorial in the description box below if you want to check it out, and also the pattern. All of that will be in the description box below if you want to buy it for yourself. But this is how my socks look so far. So I am working on a size small, and I'm using my Knit Pro double pointed needles. These needles right here, 10 out of 10. But this is how my socks are looking. And I'm also using the Arne and Carlos sock yarn in the color, I believe it's called Lantern Night. I love this yarn. The thing I love about the Arne and Carlos sock yarn, it's like you get so many designs. Like some parts in here kind of looks a little bit like chevron, and then up in here you kind of get like a little speckle design. I love it. Like the yarn is amazing. And then with the Arne and Carlos sock yarn, they have so many beautiful color combinations. So if you need some, beautiful sock yarn, check their yarn out as well. I love it. And then another sock pattern that I tried to start working on was my Prato Socks by Maria Eve Ledge. So y'all, I tried to work on those socks using my shorty needle set. Now, when I tried to make those socks, I was using my 2-inch length of needles. Y'all, it did not go well for me because the thing about the Prato socks, they have that very intricate cuff. And so with my circular needles, like I shared like earlier, I'm used to working with like lengths of needles that are a lot longer. So trying to work on that intricate cuff with the 2-inch needles, it did not go well for me. So that is also why I bought the 9-inch individual circular needle. So I'm going to try to use this needle to work on the Prato socks to see if I have a little bit more success. Um, but the pattern is absolutely gorgeous. Like when I was working on the socks, I was able to see like the design of the cuff come together a little bit before I stopped. I was like, I gotta buy a different needle to work on these socks. But the design of the cuff, it's stunning. I would say if you do work on the socks, just be prepared that you're gonna have to concentrate when you start working on that cuff section because it is intricate. So now I'm gonna share with you all some tees patterns that I found because y'all, it's springtime. So I was like, I gotta start thinking about spring and summer knits that I want to make. Because I know in 2025, I definitely did not make as many like t-shirts and stuff like that that I wanted to make. So I was like, 2026, I'm going to be looking into spring and summer knits. So the first tee pattern that I found, this is the Coco Tee by Sari Nordland. This is a top-down construction, and you're going to use fingering weight yarn and on Ravelry. I think this pattern is going for $9.75 US dollars. Oh, this is so cute to me because it just looks like the perfect like throw-on tee. I think this t-shirt will look beautiful in every single color. I think this would also look really cute if maybe you did like a striped version, like maybe if you did two colors, I think that would look cute as well. And I feel like this pattern, even though I've not bought it yet, it looks like it would be simple. Like I could work on this while I'm watching like a movie, TV show, or listening to a podcast because I love a good simple knit. And then another Sari Nordland tee that I found is the Juno Tee. Now, of course, what stood out to me is that lace design that's on the sleeves. Like, I love a t-shirt pattern where it's kind of simple, but it has like a little lace design somewhere, whether it's on the sleeves or wherever. I just love when it has a little lace design. So that's really cute. And in this pattern, you are using light fingering weight yarn. And one thing about this pattern, I believe on Ravelry, if I can remember, it didn't give me the option to where I could buy the pattern. So I also have to see where I can buy the pattern because I'm not sure if Sari Nordland released this pattern and maybe like an ebook or something. I'm not sure, but I'll have to see where I can find the pattern. But if you have made either one of those tees, please put in the comments like how did you like it? What did you think about working with the pattern? Because I would love to make those tees. Now the next, this is a blouse, but the next pattern that I found, because of course I was scrolling on Ravelry like I usually do, and this is so unique. I was like, I have to share this one because it's like just so cute and I love it. So it's the Bleary Blouse by Lydia Morrow. And in this one, you are going to use fingering and mohair held together. Now, if you decide to make this blouse, and especially if you live in the summer, like not in the summer, if you live in the South, you can make this blouse just with like fingering weight and not with mohair held together. Because I know for me, making garments that have like fingering weight and mohair held together, sometimes it's a little bit too warm just for where I live. But I don't know, maybe you can make this blouse just with fingering weight. But I love this. Like I said, if you love something that's like kind of out the box and unique, definitely make this one. I think it's so adorable. And the last tee pattern that I found is the Lanikai Summer Tee by Sally Dent. I love this one. And of course, what stood out to me when I was looking at this pattern is the lace design. I'm a sucker for lace design. Like I think it's so beautiful. But with this tee, it's recommended that you use light fingering weight yarn, and the pattern is going for $9 US dollars on Ravelry. So I love this. And I think it would just look beautiful. I think this t-shirt would look beautiful in every color as well. So, and the thing with another thing that kind of I like about this tee, even though it has the lace design, it doesn't look like super complicated. Like I feel like if I decide to make this tee, I can still like watch a TV show or a movie, but I say that because I have not bought the pattern yet. So, but yeah, if you have also like made this tee, please also put in the comments below how did you like it? What did you think about it? Because I know this tee is also oversized. That's another thing why I like this pattern is because I like garments that are oversized. But yes, if you made this tee as well, just put in the comments how did you like the pattern? What did you think about it? Now we have made it to the end of the episode, but before I end, y'all, I gotta give you all the encouraging quote of the day because I don't know if you're like me, but I love reading encouraging quotes. So the quote of the day says, "There is no passion to be found in settling for a life that is less than the one that you are capable of living." And that quote is by Nelson Mandela. So hope that quote encouraged you. So if you have stayed this long to watch the full episode, thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this episode, you can please give me a like or subscribe. But until next time, I will see you all later. Bye.